Bull and the Bartender Show, Bull's Radio Lounge. You go to youtube.com, just search Bull's Radio Lounge, and you'll find us. We usually do a show every Tuesday at 8 p.m., but because of the COVID-19, I've been kind of doing shows periodically. So last night we had Michael and Charlie from Olympus Pools. They were live in the studio. Well, they were live in the sort of signal of satellites that we got going on. Because everybody now is just sort of broadbanding it up and, using all kinds of like Zoom and Skype and more. It's like almost like Total Recall around here. So COVID-19 has sort of got us 25 feet in the bunker on this August 9th, 2020. Never knew by the time this day and age that we would have sort of, a virus that would sort of take us down to everybody staying inside and just being sort of like home-based, zombies or something like that, So everything's sort of shut down and across the country and across the world even. So tonight I've got scheduled Mathew Gaither. Now Mathew Gaither owns, a shop in Brandon that sells knives, coral, anything that you want. This guy, I know this guy for years. I believe when we first met, he got, he sort of, I think he had a sword or something like that he gave to another producer that used for the show. I can't remember what the show is called, but a former cast member of mine was on the show at the time, and one of his friends, and we got him on the show, and then we got Mathew Gaither coming in and doing his deal, and hopefully soon we're going to be doing more and more shows with him and having more things go on and just kind of hanging out on this Wednesday night, or no, Thursday night. I'm sorry, Thursday. Let's see if Mathew Gaither is available here in a minute. How's everybody doing? Hope everything's doing good. As the audio turns down. Let's see, we could turn this off. A lot of things happening here in the bunker. A lot of things had to, mend some stuff, weld some stuff, hook up some more wires, stuff like that. Turn on the, the kilowatt machine, because when you go out here and you sort of go out in the world, it's sort of, crazy with all the zombies walking around. But without further ado, whoops, wrong one. Shit. Whoops. Wait. No, did I? Oh, crap. I don't want that one. I don't want that on. No, sorry. I don't want my mug on the camera.
Oh, good.
So this is Mathew Gaither from Gaither Blade and Bling. Sorry about that little troubleshooting deal. I wasn't prepared to be on camera. I don't have my makeup on. And so, down here in the bunker, I usually like the bunker very dark. And, I mean, you know how it is. You know how the studio once was with,
oh yeah,
completely dark and, nothing, I can't see anybody. And then that's usually the way I like it. But Mathew Gaither from Gaither Blade and Bling, how are you, my friend? Welcome to the new, I don't know if you've been on this show before, but welcome to the new show, the Bull and the Bartender Show.
Yeah, it has been a while, but I am actually pretty bone tired. Been, packing up all day and cleaning up.
Now are you moving locations, or what's going on?
Well, we're I'm going to be running it out of my house from now on.
Okay.
We're closing on the actual physical storefront, and I can get into the details of that later if you'd be interested. But
right.
we're putting our inventory into storage for the time being, but I'm still selling all of it, everything for sale, including what I'm going to have on camera.
Okay.
I can still order things just like I've been doing for the past few years. So I mean, I'm still fully functional, just without an actual store.
So without a storefront, you're just sort of selling things, on the internet or
Yeah,
whatever.
face to face,
Yeah.
over Facebook.
Now they can
Just
contact you via like Facebook Messenger, right?
yes.
Okay.
You can find my profile, Mathew Gaither, or you can go directly to Gaither Blade and Bling on Facebook. If you post or comment or message, it'll go directly to me, and I'll see it right away.
Okay. So they make an order from you from your website or your Facebook, and then do you deliver it to them?
I mean, if you're within 50 miles, I probably can.
Okay.
I still do the other job, so I'm out just about all around Central Florida. So
Okay.
I can make shipping easy, especially around these times when don't really know if shipping's going to be a thing for a while. I can still deliver.
Well, I think UPS and stuff. I think they're still doing all of their stuff. You know what I mean? Like I think
Yep.
they're still.
I know there's some rumors about the postal service shutting. Who
Really?
really knows?
Why would the postal service shut down?
Well, I mean, they've always operated at a loss, and they just keep getting new loans from the government. That's what keeps them going, basically.
Okay.
But
so what you're saying is that the post office may shut down?
it may. Who really knows? I don't see it really shutting down. They do so much volume that would be something not many people would really want. So
Yeah,
I really see them pushing through.
I don't see them shutting down at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean that's just me though. I mean because
Yeah.
I mean how would you shut down um, people who still need their mail and still need their things delivered and things
Right.
to function throughout life like medication or whatever. I mean you can't really shut that down. I mean that's
Of course, there is the argument that about 50% of what they deliver is all junk mail anyway. But
true.
yeah, you're right. With the essential things like medication and even in the financial sector with bills and people still cutting checks through the mail, that's an integral part of the economy still.
Yeah, because not a lot of people are gone to the virtual mail. You know what I mean? They're not going to that where everything's online yet.
Mm-hmm.
So you're shutting down the storefront, correct?
Yes. More like we're being shut down, but yes, we are here at the store. We've been packing stuff up, cleaning up, throwing out the trash, and consolidating and all that good stuff.
Because you don't just sell knives there; you sell all kinds of different stuff, don't you?
Oh yes, we do. Let's see, we got our blacksmith, and he makes more than just knives. He's also made, I think he made some sissy bars for a motorcycle at one point.
Okay.
Hooks and forks. We also sell camping and survival equipment. So tents, fire starters, ponchos.
Now, what are you gonna do with him? With because I've seen your shop, and it's huge. I mean, it's bigger than my house, But how are you? How are you going to supply like the guy with the blacksmith? I mean, how is that going to work?
He's going to be setting up his own shop independent.
Okay.
So he's currently moving into storage in the meantime, and
is he going to work out of storage?
Yeah, just regular storage.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he's got an actual workshop that's within his, he's going to reset back up.
Oh, okay.
So
I got you.
I will still be selling his stuff. I will still be in complete contact with him. I've known the man for 16 years.
Yeah, I got you. So you guys aren't like separating like most people do, to where they're like oh my God, you're going out of business. What are we gonna do?
Exactly. Same with our woodworker. I mean, he's making 11-foot tables and live edge benches and stuff like that.
No kidding, really.
Yeah, he's really branched out, and he's doing that from home right now. He moved all of his equipment out, and he made space in his garage, and he's been going.
Okay. Well, that sounds really cool because a lot of times, you can't really find really good blacksmiths or people like you in general because a lot of these knife dealers, they don't. Here's the thing, where I'm going with this is that with you've all like the knives that I've bought from you. I bought the expendable knives. I bought the Jason Statham throwing knives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the knives that I've asked you about, you've always been straightforward with me. You've always been like the Harley Quinn one. You got me the Harley Quinn gun, and you've always been straightforward with the price. You've never bamboozled me. You've never said, "Oh, it's this price," but it's actually, another price. Which I like that, and I think a lot of people nowadays, especially with this COVID-19 going around, they sort of need that sort of refreshing, straight, honest answer type of guy like you are. And it's like I said, it's refreshing to have somebody like you in my pocket because if I need something or if I need to have something or find something, you're the first guy that I go to.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're just straightforward. You're a man of your word, and if you can get it, then you can get it. If you can't get it, then you'll let me know. Hey, fat ass, I can't get it.
I think that's only happened once so far. But,
so other than that, man, how's things going? I mean, are you guys surviving? I mean, I know you just had a baby, and how old's your son right now?
He is 14 and a half months.
Okay.
He's actually almost 15 months, so he's a year and a quarter.
Year and a quarter. And everything is going well? I mean, because I think the last time we spoke on the air was when I was with the other studio.
Mm-hmm. We wife and I we moved into a townhome over in St. Pete, so we're saving up for our own house.
Okay.
And I mean, giving up the shop and whatnot, that's been a bit of a blessing in disguise because we'll be able to bank aside even more money.
Right.
Just the overhead costs won't be an issue.
Is a lot of overhead costs with owning like a shop in that particular location? Because I know when you were telling me earlier that the drive from going to St. Pete to Brandon was horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to it just because my other job, I'm used to driving 100, 200 miles a day.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really affect me that much. It's just the amount of gas that I'm actually burning now, having to make the trip more.
Okay.
Into Brandon. Because before I had it pretty much set out where, I'd use up 2 tanks of gas a week. But now, having to make it to the shop, and stay open as well as do my other job and having it coming from St. Pete now, that means I'm doing more like 33.5 tanks of gas. And that really takes a toll because I can see an electric bill, I can see a trash bill, I can see a tax bill, I can see my sales tax adding up.
Yeah.
But the gas prices, you can't really see into the future on.
Yeah, especially like 2 tanks of gas a week. That would drive me insane.
Yeah, and it's a Toyota Tundra, so it's thirsty.
Yeah. I don't know how you survive just on 2 tanks of gas like that. I mean, just I put like $10 in my truck and that lasts me at least for like maybe to like Friday-ish. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, I think I'm up to 348,000 miles, and it's a 2006, so that give you a bit of an.
But you're driving a lot more too. You're driving from stop to stop. I mean, I used to do those when I was doing the property inspections and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I used to drive from house to house, and so the maintenance on it is tires and brakes and gas and oil is the most main thing that drives you out of your mind.
Yep.
So, but I mean, everything else is going good. I mean, like I said, we haven't spoke since the other studio. I mean, anything change or what's going on?
Well, my wife is she's working for a private library, so she's not beholden to a state or city government.
Uh-huh.
which is amazing because some of our friends in the state and city and county systems are actually being mobilized during the whole COVID.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Okay.
yeah. So if you had your first aid or your basic life support training at a city library, they
Uh-huh.
are actually calling on you to go to the shelters and whatnot.
For what I mean,
So
just in case you're you could be like what do you mean like exposed to COVID-19?
as in to help people process patient.
Oh, okay. All right. So they want people to help them out with helping out with patients and stuff like that, right?
And we're blessed that we work for a private library. She's salaried, so her pay's actually been guaranteed, even though the library is going to be shut down until June.
Oh,
June
really?
is
So what is she
yeah.
doing until then? I mean,
She still does programming and she still does work for the library, but it's all been from home. And I've been recording her programming for her. She's a children's librarian, so she does weekly events where normally kids would come in certain age groups. There's like
uh-huh.
2 or 3 main programs that they do,
Okay.
and they show up. And then based on the age group, they would do some songs, some readings, some rhymes, stuff like that.
Right.
And so she's basically been doing those, but recorded,
Ah,
and with
okay.
my son helping, of course.
All right. I got you. Well, that's good, man. At least she's,
Hmm.
getting out there and she's
Hmm.
not like cuz like I see some of these people and we talked to remember Michael and Charlie from the
Hmm.
formerly from Dominance Live, right?
Yep.
And then they now they're doing Olympus Pools, which they stopped doing the public dominance live type of events. So once they had their
Okay.
son, and
Hmm.
so now they're just working. They're working for a company called Olympus Pools, and
Okay.
they're like senior designers over there. But
Okay.
but we were talking about the COVID-19 last night, and Michael has a very see, like I'm sort of half and half with this whole thing. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I wanted to get your stance as well. But
Okay.
for me, I'm sort of half and half because I see things very statistical. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And sort of reality based, if you will. And what I see is that the amount of people who are dying in comparison with the people who are have cases or developing cases, right? To
Hmm.
me, that's what you have to look at.
Hmm.
You have to look at, and that's what people don't understand is that when you look at something like this, the death rate, if the death rate is getting higher than what the people who are getting better is, then yeah, that's a problem. But if
Yeah.
people are not dying and getting better in regards to catching this COVID-19 thing, right? Then
Hmm.
then it's not as serious as what the news and the media is sounding like. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And as far as I know, all the official statistics, whether or not you want to believe the official statistics, is a whole other thing. You can go directly to the CDC website and you can get the raw data. I mean,
Uh
everyone's gonna take that and either gonna not report on a per capita or they're gonna report raw numbers against a per capita. So it's up to you to really filter that out. But you can get the raw data is out there to find.
but do you think the CDC with the raw data, do you think that they're might be sort of fudging the numbers a little bit?
I am actually undoubtedly believe that they are.
Okay.
And again, it's a public document. You can go look this up on site. They sent out a code for CD or COVID death, and in the flyer they said record COVID-19 as the main cause of death, even if it's not confirmed. If you just assume that it is, and I
Right.
know, yeah, if they had COPD or if they had pneumonia, just put that under. If you actually know how viruses, how you actually figure out if a virus is there. So here's a mind-blowing fact for you.
Go ahead.
5% of the human genome is actually retroviruses that have been in our ancestors and just never got bred out
Uh-huh.
over because a virus, of course, injects itself into your cell and copies its own DNA. and basically hijacks its cell to make its own DNA. Well, with the coronavirus, there's so many different coronavirus. Flus are actually in the coronavirus. They actually separate the particles out to, well, field tests that they're doing, if you have a coronavirus, it's registered as positive. So whether you have just one of the regular tiny coronaviruses that are there, COVID-19 or SARS-2, whatever terminology you want to use, it's all going to show up as a positive.
Right.
Unless you're doing the actual physical lab test where you take each sample, hope it's contaminated, and then separate out the viral part. So I do believe there is some number inflation.
I got you, and I apologize because throughout that whole thing, it came in sort of clear, but then it came in sort of splotchy as well. And I think it's because of me being in the bunker over here, but also the phone signal too. Which I'm trying to get these. The thing is that I'm trying to get this, this thing to where I can talk to people via phone chat, up and running and sounding really clear and really that.
Birds sticking up out of your bunker.
Yeah, you broke up again. I'm sorry.
You think there's some birds living on the antenna sticking up out of your.
They could be. I mean, the hamsters are spinning pretty fast, and a couple of them I think are sort of like, maybe having a heart attack trying to keep up with the signal strength. But yeah, the antennas that are outside the bunker, the satellite dishes, they're sort of running at full capacity too, because I'm building this thing from, well, I've been building this thing from the ground up, and it's not like with the other place where everything's already set, all the technical stuff has already been figured out, so but yeah, so I've been trying to build this up. So again, when you listen to the replay, I do apologize for the phone static. It's hard to do things when you're 25 feet below ground. But nonetheless, so COVID-19, you said that the statistics could be fudged. My question is this to you. Since you have a family and stuff like that, are you concerned?
I'm not concerned for our immediate family.
Okay.
I've got some extended family that with underlying issues that I'm concerned about, or maybe that aren't able to cope as much with the chain and like delivery or having the store at a certain hour. But I'm concerned about our. I do my other job. I'm not even have many people anyway, even if it wasn't.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're still breaking up, my friend. It's really hard to hear you, and I'm so sorry, especially the three viewers that we have on here. Yeah, it's really bad. And it's not you. It's the phone connection between. It's from you to the computer over here and stuff like that. Yeah. So I don't know. Do you have Skype at all?
I do. I can try that.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's take a break real quick, and then let's see if we can get Skype working. And then if we can get Skype working real quick, then we'll my thing is I don't want to lose what great content that you have to give, and I want to keep you sounding good. So oh, that's loud. All right, so let me do this. Let me pot you down real quick, and then we'll go ahead and sign off, and then I'll get you on Skype. All right. Let me do this here. All right, so let me do this. Sorry about that. I do apologize for the two viewers that have signed on here. So let me do this. Let me get on to Skype real quick and see if that works. Again, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on what's going on and what's happening. There it is. So I do apologize. We're doing this off the cuff, kind of like the show Off the Cuff. And the show was running, and we lost 2 people. We lost 3 people. Can't believe that. What's going on? Come back. Don't leave. I promise you, this show is only going to get better. I don't know why that's not working. All right, stand by. All right, so I'm trying to get a hold of Matt back again on a different thing. I don't know if he's... Hold on. Oops. Let's see what's going on here. There we go. Let's try this one more time. See what happens.
All right.
Are you back on, my friend?
I think I am.
All right, that's fantastic. I think you're sounding better right now. Let me just turn this down a little bit more.
Better too.
All right. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a luck of the draw, if you will. Make sure everything's back running smoothly here. We're all doing this live, so. All right, so let's just get back in the swing of things. So we're talking about COVID-19. We're talking about how, you know, how your family is going, how everything is going on, and what's happening in the world. So the question is that are you concerned about you and your 15-month-year-old child?
I'm not concerned about our immediate family.
Okay.
I think we're all in good health. We're all pretty isolated. So, I mean, when I do my other jobs, I'm usually not up in groups of people.
Right.
And then, of course, my wife being home from her library job, she's not exposed to, the hundreds of kids. So I think we're pretty much set.
Yeah. Have you had any symptoms, or have you, kind of like, oh man, I got a sore throat. Maybe this is what's going on. Because the reason why I ask is that people nowadays, they're hoarding toilet paper. They're hoarding paper towels. They're hoarding now canned goods, bread, all this stuff. Like, the world is going to end. And I mean, don't get me wrong. This thing is a bad situation, to say the least. But my thing is do we have to sit there and go crazy like that? That's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, I mean, really, most of the people who are panicking now are the ones who didn't really prep to begin with. Just like they say, if you're running out to buy ammo, you're behind the game.
Which I'm fully stocked. So
I'm sorry.
I'm fully stocked.
Yep.
My ammo is pretty good, ready to go. So.
That's what you're right? All the cases that you got stocked down there.
What's that?
And what you made it out of.
My bunker.
Ammo, right?
Yeah, I've got endless amount of ammo cases and guns and stuff like that. So if zombies do walk the earth, I will be ready to start, blasting some zombies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna even use the Caesar knives, the straight edge that I ordered from you, and the
Yep.
big old Expendables. Now you guys are gonna clown me for this, but the Bowie knife.
Ooh, you got it.
Bowie. I used to say Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some fun times with the, back in the
Yep.
other studio. I really enjoyed that.
I found that video clip and
Of which one?
recently on YouTube of when I brought the buoy out and they were messing with you for it.
Oh, really? Oh man,
Mm-hmm.
that was a classic.
Yep.
They always wanted me to wear a dress for some reason. I don't know what the infatuation was with wearing a dress.
That came up in Cards Against Humanity a couple times.
Yeah, I
didn't it?
know. That's crazy. I spoke with a couple weeks ago. I spoke with, remember Manson?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had him on the show as well.
Good.
Him and Donna. The technology wasn't correct in a sense because we can only hear a little bit of him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think once we get this sort of dialed in, it'll be better to have him on. But we've had him on. We've had who Lucas Lagoons is, or Lucas Congdon.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he does the insane pools on DIY. We've had him on too, a couple times actually. So we were supposed to do. He's supposed to have like a party at his new business, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't think he still had it, but it was supposed to be like a sort of like a opening business party, basically. You know what I mean? That way, we all get together and sort of celebrate his opening and stuff like that. So, but with this COVID-19 thing, I don't think he was doing anything with that sort of sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're still there.
Saves the closing down. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's saying on here it's poor connection, but I don't know.
Let me shoot this way. Let's see if that actually will.
I'm just having all kinds of problems with this goddamn thing. So that's why we need you. We need you in the studio to come in here and start doing some live stuff.
Yep.
Which I'm hoping that this will work because that way I can get you on to do a show, like a weekly show. Because we always talked about it and we always discussed having sort of like a weekly show with you back in the day, and I was always wanting to do one and ready to do one and stuff like that. I just don't think we found the time to do it at the time. But now, what's that?
I was gonna say, I started trying it myself, and I got all the equipment and I got all the editing software, and then Lewis was born. So
yeah, you're still cutting in and out on this.
Let me try moving this way. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It's just sometimes it cuts in and cuts out. That's the only problem. Which is not your fault. It's it's the connection between the two satellites. So again, I do apologize. So you were saying that you had all the equipment, you had everything set up, then your son was born, and then what happened from there?
Current plan that I was going to video the days that I was at the shop, and I was going to edit on Sundays. And then I quickly realized that maybe it's a lot more work than that. And so the days I was at the shop, I was mostly keeping entertained and customers, and of course all the usual shop stuff.
Yeah.
And so I never really had time to video myself and do an actual segment. And then some days, I had this idea that he was gonna nap all day and then I could edit. Well, no,
that didn't happen, did it?
No. So, I had to do one episode, and then I just So
you're still. Yeah, I'm still here. You're just still cutting out. It's very hard to hear you. man, I don't know what to do because it's, you know, this is so irritating. And I do apologize so much. I'm trying to find it to where I can do like maybe a voice call. I mean, I don't know if that'll work.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I hate to do this live on the air, but you know, there may not be, you know, too much more that I could do. You know what I mean? Just because the connection is so bad, and I don't, you know, I want to get your message out, and I want to get, you know, everything on there that you want to talk about, because, you know, we're just sort of chit chat. You know what I mean? Just sort of relaxing and just doing our thing. Let me see. Let me see if I can do this. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know what's going to work. Being in this bunker just sort of, you know, gets everything all crazy and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's going to work. Everything's all beeping at me. We'll just try it like this if you're still there. Yeah, I think you're still there, right? Yeah. Let me try one more thing real quick. Let's see what happens. I do apologize. Every time I try to call Mathew, it's always a hassle trying to get. Let me try doing it this way. Maybe this will work. We're doing this live, off the cuff. Try one more time. I don't know what else to do. It's always an issue with trying to get Mathew on. I don't know why. It's ringing. It's ringing. Let's see what happens. We had a pretty good interview. I mean, so far, and just the signal just wipes out, and you know, all the stuff like that. So it's like we just, you know, I try to get things going. I try to get things working, and it just doesn't work, and I don't know why. It says connecting. I don't know. I mean, it says I have good bars. I don't know what's going on. Why is it? Let's try this again. So I'm trying to get Mathew Gaither back on the phone. He's with a company called Gaither Blade and Bling. It's his own company that sells knives and, you know, weapons and whatever you need. If you need something for like your cosplay, he can get it for you. Just check him out. Go to Gaither Blade and Bling. Just check him out on Facebook. He's gonna be doing a lot of selling from, you know, his you know, from his Facebook page. Let me see what's going on here. See if I can get him back on here. Trying my hardest. I do apologize. We lost all our viewers. We had like 3. I don't know why, but we had 3. And now I can't get him on the phone. That's sort of aggravating. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. This is just sort of, let me see if I can text him again. See that. I don't know what else to do. You know, I've tried everything that I know how to do, besides like calling them old school way and just doing it this way. But like yesterday with Michael from Olympus Pools, had the same thing. It was I don't know, it's not coming through. I don't know what's going on. It says Matt's unavailable. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Let me try this. Let's see. I'm trying to get him. This is so irritating. All right. Oh man, I don't know. Listen, if you guys have any suggestions on trying to get sort of like a law, you know, let's see if we got him back here.
Okay.
Matt, are you back?
That time.
Are you back, Matt? There you go.
Yep, there we are.
All right. Why don't you just turn your video portion off, right?
Yep,
And then
done.
that way, that might be a little bit better, for the
Yep,
signal. You know what I mean?
yep.
So, all right. So we have you back. I don't know what we were talking about. We were talking about something, and
And we were reminiscing, and we were talking about there was a party that had a business opening,
oh yeah,
and
for Lucas Lagoons, he was going to have um, a get together on like April the 1st, right? And we were
uh-huh,
supposed to go over there because I mean we're friends with Charlie and Michael. We're friends with they do their pit pull business, and with um, um, Olympus Pools as well. So
mm-hmm.
we've our stretch goes pretty far. So
Oh yeah,
um, we've always been, excuse me, just really sort of interested in all kinds. I mean, we even had Eddie Monster on here a couple weeks ago from the
oh yeah,
Munsters. Yeah, so
huh?
we had him live on the. I mean, I met him at a Comic Con in Bartow. They had the Space Coast Comic
Mm-hmm.
Con over there, and I went to go see
Uh-huh.
Joe Winecoop. You remember him?
I believe
He's
so.
like the king of B movies.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I met him over there because he had a booth set up, and I was like, man, who is the guy over next to you? He looks so familiar. He goes, oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's Eddie Munster, and I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, so I went over there and introduced myself and told him what show that I do and stuff like that. And he was really cool about it, and I was like, all right, well that's cool. Let's go get you on the air. So we got him on the air. Nice guy to talk to. A little bit prima donnish, I think,
Mm-hmm.
but really nice guy. He wanted to get all his information out there and make sure everybody knew about it and stuff like that and all that jazz,
Mm-hmm.
which is understandable. You know what I mean? You have a lot to get out there, and you want to get all your stuff out there, which is cool. I have no problem with
Yeah.
that. So just a lot of unique guests we've had on since we've been doing this show um, for a while. Um, so going back to the COVID-19 thing, do you think this is sort of like a oops, you know, um, this sort of got out and we're sort of cleaning up the mess type of thing, or do you think this is sort of like a ploy to get to see where we're at as a country as we go into silence? Maybe I lost connection there. You still there? Hello. All right. Well, Matthew, I think I lost connection with you again, and I do apologize. Man, this is so irritating. I don't know. I don't know what else to do. You know, we have no viewers. Nobody's watching the channel. I don't know what's going on. No, I don't. You still there? I think we lost him. If you can hear me, I'm going to call you on another number if it'll work. I don't know why the internet is not working. See, I have to do all this stuff on the fly because everything works before I go on the air and I test everything out, but then it doesn't work, which is really quite irritating because now I have to do this all live and no internet. Great. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. This is just crazy. I can't have any guest on. Nothing. Um. Uh. I don't know what that means. Let me see if I can restart the computer. Do it all live. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I guess I'm going to have to. Maybe the hamsters went down. One of the hamsters went down because we have Mathew Gaither frantically waiting on the phone, and I'm frantically trying to figure out how to get this thing back going. And every time I try to do it, it just sort of messes up again. So, well, it's either we do it to where it sounds very splotchy, which sounds horrible most of the time, or we try to get them somehow. Which, like I said, I'm limited to the resources that I have to use. So I do apologize for the people who aren't listening, which is zero. So I'm trying to get Mathew Gaither back on, and I can't really play any audio right now. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Trying to fix as we speak. So, I mean, I guess I'll just have to talk, verbatim till we get, because I don't even have any audio to play. I mean, everything is playing from one computer down here in the bunker, so I don't have any audio to play. I can't go to commercial. I can't do nothing. So hopefully this will restart back up, and I can go back in here and redo it and start all over again. Stuff like that, and then go on from there. And hopefully it works. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm hoping it does. See more details. All right, let's do this. Let me see if this will work. I don't know if no. I don't know what's going on with this thing. All right, thank you for hanging tight. I'm going to try one last thing, one last ditch effort to see if I can get him back on. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're trying. We're trying. So just stand by, Mathew, if you're listening. I'm going to try to do one more thing. I'm trying to call him from the show number, see if that works. Hopefully it'll work. Let's try this again. I do apologize. That's, Mathew, are you there?
Yep. Can you hear me now?
I got you now. I'm calling you from the show number.
Okay.
Just because, like I said, I had everything all planned out, and then all of a sudden everything goes to crap. And, I had to restart the computer live on the air. I couldn't play any music to go to a break, nothing like that. So, we're just sort of doing it off the cuff here,
Yep.
So, to be honest with you, I don't even know where we were at to begin with.
You were asking me about whether I felt that it was the country's reaction was overblown or not.
Oh, okay. Do you think it's overblown with this whole thing?
I just think it's a little suspicious. It's all going on during an election year, personally.
Would that be a coincidence type of thing?
I mean, in a way, I don't really ascribe to many conspiracy theories at all. Some of them are just way out there. But it is kind of suspicious that Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they've been very vocal about things, and they're the ones who ran a coronavirus simulation with Johns Hopkins back in October, which is,
so do you think
record.
that people kind of they're trying to get things prepared just in case this did happen?
Oh, and I'm sure that's what was going on. It makes sense to prepare for things, but
prepare like under the radar type of deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, like at a country at actual level, it makes sense to prepare to have your infrastructure in place. Because in the Boy Scouts, when they say be prepared, they mean for anything. So it does make sense
that a country would, or a major medical institution would want to prepare for different things. It's just when you have all these things going on and all these suspect numbers, and then you're writing policy based on it, it just gets a little weird.
Now, are you going to be able to apply for that thing from the government, the stimulus package deal, because of your business?
The small business one, I'm still waiting to see if we even qualify for that.
Okay.
I know we don't qualify for paycheck protection because I don't have employees. But the small business loan might be within. I'm still waiting to hear back on our application.
But you're gonna get
level,
the regular one, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
yeah.
You're still gonna get that one.
Yep, we're paying off 2 credit cards with it. So.
Oh, nice. Well, the one thing I did, I put up to see sort of like a litmus test of a psychology type of thing. And I don't know if you can hear this. Okay. Let me see and make sure I've got all the audio stuff working and stuff like that, because trying to make sure that you can hear this, because this is pretty funny, and it's basically it's how do you say it? It's got the most views out of all the views on the account, on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now it's called COVID-19, or no, what is it called? It's called Corona Purge Announcement 2020, right? Now I'm not going to tell you how many views that I have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, but I'm going to go through some of the comments, right? One of them is this real? Sorry, I don't know, right? And then another guy responded to no, and then another person responded, not real, just a mix between the purge and the virus. And then another comment was, this better not be a prank. If it is, the person who made this video should be arrested.
Oh my gosh.
And then it's all over TikTok. People are pranking family members. Another person commented, why would you need to arrest them? They said it was a prank in the title. So I don't know if you can hear this. You tell me if you can hear it or not, but here it goes.
Okay.
Can you hear that?
Not yet.
You probably can't hear that either, can you?
Nah, I'm hearing some clicks, but
okay.
Not anything else.
Okay, so that means that you are hearing me from a different source. Yep, that's where you're hearing me from. Let me do that over here. Can you still hear me?
Yep, still can.
All right, let me play this again. Can you hear that?
Yep.
All right. So this is
not a test. This is your biohazard
Now I'm gonna play this without pausing, and I want you to tell me what you think.
warning system. Due to the new COVID-19 virus, the following measures come into effect. We are announcing the start of the immediately effective nationwide quarantine, which has been officially approved by the United States government. Commencing at the siren, leaving your own household, even for medical or everyday errands, will be a criminal offense and will be punished with state-forced quarantine and, depending on the severity of the quarantine violation, death. Visits to relatives, neighbors, or friends will be illegal during this time. No one has been granted immunity from the quarantine. No citizen or group will be exempt. All emergency services will be suspended.
So far on the surface, what do you think?
Well, it sounds a lot like a copy pasta that I've seen, where people were saying that there were plans of a national quarantine and whatnot. So it sounds like a lot of those that have been going around, mixed with the kind of like what you had said earlier, mixed with the purge.
Yeah, here's the rest of it.
Until further notice, and cannot be reached. Every household will receive a monthly data volume of 400 megabytes in order to keep the network load under control. There is currently no time limit for these measures. We hope for yourself and your family to be prepared for the worst. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
Now, just playing that sound, that purge sort of alarm sound, that's very ominous, you know? That's like, that's insanely crazy with that, because if you heard that, wouldn't you think, oh shit, that something's going down with that one?
Yeah, and I know that the FCC really goes after people who use the warning system tones.
Oh yeah, the emergency alert tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big no-no when you're on terrestrial radio.
Yep.
So
So
I posted this.
Possible.
What's that?
So it's entirely possible that just using that tone is what gets people to wonder.
So I posted this April 5th, right? I didn't make the video, right? I found it online and I wanted to post it just to see the psychology of it, because I did two different videos. One was sort of like a clipping of the Ghostbusters when they're talking to the mayor of New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's sort of like a secret meeting inside the mayor's office, right? So so the parallel between the two was that this Corona purge announcement, right, made, and I'm not really, I don't care about, the views are great, but that's not what I was looking for. There's 50 likes and 7 dislikes, right? But then also, since April 5th, I think it was on Sunday I posted this, how many views do you think this video has had?
Based on that, a couple hundred.
Yeah, well, slightly higher.
Couple thousand.
Yeah, about 5,939 views, or 4,939 views.
Sounds like a lot of shares.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, just out of all the videos that I produced, that this one alone, the psychology of it, has gotten so much attention going through the interwebs that people are. Right. That's the highest viewed video that I have on the channel.
Yep, I mean, it's a trending topic and some uncertainty and doom. 4,900
views.
Yeah,
that's a benchmark for this channel, I think. Now this one I put up, it's called, and I specifically put on their Bulls Radio Lounge, right? Right. As the intro, and then I put up, let's see, where is it at? Coronavirus Update 2020, right?
Mm-hmm. That this city is headed for a disaster.
And it says location, the mayor's office, time 4 p.m., just to kind of, add a little extra added value to it.
Biblical proportion.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean, biblical? What he means is Old Testament, Mr. Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff. Exactly. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead.
It's sad that what's his name, Egon, had to die. You know what I mean? Or he died. He was such a great actor, I thought.
Rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Enough, I get the point. What if you're wrong? If I'm wrong, nothing happens. We go to jail, peacefully, quietly. We'll enjoy it. But if I'm right, and we can stop this thing, Lenny, you will have saved the lives of millions of registered voters.
Such a great scene.
I don't believe you're seriously considering listening to these men.
He's thinking about it.
You got work to do.
Yeah.
Now, what do you need from me?
Now, here's the parallel between those two videos. This video has 20 views, right? And with only 2 likes on it. And again, I don't really care about, how many views I mean, it's understandably great to have views like that, but the psychology of it, I thought, was that, the COVID one that was sort of like the purge, people are freaking out about that one, but this one to where they're like, oh, we're finding something, possibly a cure in a satire type of way, they could care less about that. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm thinking about. I'm like, man, are people that, illicit to where they don't think this is real, and none of these videos are not real and stuff like that. And if I think that there was some sort of people falling down a lot and people tripping over and dying, walking and dying like the Walking Dead type of thing, I think it would be all over the news. Like we'd see the emergency broadcast system like playing 24/7, I think, and getting like, minute by minute updates about where the zombies are and where they're starting from, and bunker down type of thing. But some people are just acting like this is sort of the end of the world. And
well,
what's that?
I was going to say, I just think it just seems like it feeds into people. Sorry, it feeds into people not really knowing and being worried about the national response, and then they just see something and take it at face value without really thinking too hard, and that's where you get that kind of reaction from.
Now, do you think this is just sort of a normal panic for normal people, or just sort of,
I mean, again, I think the people who've already prepared and aren't too worried are the ones who aren't going to be worried anyway, and the ones who go out and panic are the same ones who buy up, all the water for a hurricane.
I mean, like, what is there? I mean, here's what I don't understand is, where do you panic from if there's nothing out there to panic from? Does that make sense? It's like,
exactly.
Why do people hoard toilet paper and paper towels? I mean, if you're quarantining at home for 2 weeks, right? What are you going to do with 45,000 pounds of toilet paper?
I will say I did not read too much of the article, but I did see something that apparently the gasoline shortages of the 70s, there was a run on toilet paper as well.
But then again, what are you going to do with all that?
Yeah, it seems to be a uniquely American thing, because a lot of the other countries where they were hard hit, they were not short on toilet paper.
Do you think the other countries are looking at us in the midst of their own COVID-19 outbreak? Do you think that they're sitting there going, wow, America is a bunch of chumps?
Well, I honestly think so, but that's a lot of that seems to be the case anyway. Non-American media seems to have a pretty low opinion of American responses to begin with.
Right.
So,
well, it says from Fox 13, Florida coronavirus cases increased by 1,100, 48 new deaths, and reported in 24 hours.
Well, how many tests did they process?
Well,
they don't.
I don't know, because it doesn't really say how many tests that they process. Excuse me. But but
it's usually you got to wonder, is that how many cases that they know about? Is that how many people suddenly grabbed their lungs and were coughing?
Yeah. Well, let's see. It says the Florida Department of Health says the number of known cases of COVID-19 in the state has risen by 1,128 since Wednesday evening. Update as the virus spreads and as more people get tested across the state, the total number of cases in Florida are now almost 17,000. The number of deaths have reached 371, an increase of 48 since yesterday. That includes 2 new deaths in Sarasota and 1 each in Citrus County and Manatee and Polk. So my thing is that, so it says Bay Area COVID-19 cases by the numbers. Hillsborough 657, Pinellas 422, Sarasota 201. Let's see, Sumner 100, Polk 234, Citrus 58, Hernando 62, Pasco 139, Highlands County 46, DeSoto 20, and Hardy 3.
Okay.
So my thing is that and this is what sort of, because I'm looking at sort of like from a medical standpoint, right? And what I'm looking at is that, like we tried to discuss before, I don't know if it got splotchy or not, but you're going to have cases of this stuff popping up no matter what, because of the fact that it's I tell people it's like a boat going through, like, the waterway between Davis Island and Harbor Island. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
That little channel right there. So if a big ship, like a let's just say like a cargo ship or something like that, passes through there, right? The virus, whatever virus it is, let's just say the virus is sort of like in the front of that ship, right? So the virus has already sort of passed where you're standing at, right? And so now the wakes that this ship makes, no matter how big or how small, these are the cases that are coming out and being brought up to the forefront. Does that make sense? And so because of now, this thing has probably already passed us and goes somewhere else. Now we're seeing all these cases because more people are being tested, and the cases are going to rise because more people being tested. But needless to say that they don't really know exactly where the virus is starting from in the U.S. Does that make sense? So that's the kind of, and we go back to saying, well, if the death rate is lower than what the people who are getting it that don't, because it's like 3 to 4 weeks for symptoms to a cure, right? To develop.
Right.
So between that time, you could already pass it to like 10 other people and not even know about it, because you may not even have symptoms, and still be a carrier of it. But
the thing is, though, is the more asymptomatic carriers you have, that means if you're asymptomatic, usually means that your viral load, the amount of virus in your system, is low. And usually that means that even if you do pass it on, unless you're giving your entire viral load to someone who's immunocompromised, usually that means that it's going to stay asymptomatic.
Correct. That is correct. But also, too, we have to look at each person of a case-by-case basis. You know what I mean? Because, like, for example, let's just say that you get it, right? You have it. And then, but you don't know it, but I get it, but I don't have any symptoms. I'm not even sick, right? And you're like, deathly ill. But my point is that a lot of people who get it, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a person that's, I went to medical school for a while, stuff like that. But my point is that if a person gets it, you have to look at what their health history is, what their case history is. Do they smoke? Do they drink? Do they eat bad, food? All this stuff, what medication that they're taking, all this stuff comes into play.
Yep.
And I don't think the news is not reporting that. The news is not reporting, like, like, for example, when Disney had those couple of deaths that they had on their rides, right?
Right.
The people who had died when they did an autopsy, they told them that, oh yeah, they're great, they have no health issues, none of them. But when they opened them up, they had all kinds of health issues. They had, clogged arteries, they had this, they had that, which they didn't even know they had.
Right.
And I think that's what the case is here, is that we don't know specifically what their their patient history is. So, that's a big factor right there in these deaths to say, okay, well, what is their age? What do they do normally? And I don't know if you agree with that or not, but to me, that would be the most inviting thing to find out, what is causing these deaths, and to go on from there. That way you can build up something from that point on. Because I don't think that when they come out with a new vaccine for this, I don't know if I'm cool with having some sort of new vaccine that I don't know what the side effects are.
Right. And and of course there's also the theory that, well, if it mutates as fast, then is any vaccine they're going to make going to be effective?
Well, I mean, that's with any case too. I mean, you don't know exactly what this thing's going to do. I mean, they could come up with a vaccine, like you said, and it could mutate to something else, and we have no way to stop it.
Yep.
It's just the luck of the draw. It's like what is it? The flu, right?
Yep.
When the flu,
I think it's like a 10% success rate for guessing the correct flu strain.
yeah, because there's like an A and a B strain, and they don't know every season what strain's going to be worse than the other, so they just sort of guess. I wonder if they do like a flip of a coin type of thing.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
That'd be funny. That'd be funny if they have like an NFL guy on the big field and saying, well, we're going to have flu A and flu B, whichever one goes first, that's what we're going to do. So yeah, it's good to hear your sort of inquiry on what's going on with this corona, because this thing has affected everybody. People have lost their jobs.
Yep.
The unemployment. Like I remember a couple months ago, they said, "Oh, the unemployment line is lower than any other year that's been going on." And now with this whole coronavirus thing, it's now like, this is sort of the unemployment line has gone skyrocketed.
Yep.
Because was it Felt Entertainment over there in Sarasota? I don't know if you know where that is or not. That's where all like the monster trucks come out of, and the Disney on Ice, those type of things come out of. They set everything up there, test it, make sure it's all right from start to finish, and then they bring them to the different venues. But they let go 900 people because of all this.
That's a lot. 900
people. Now, I don't know if that's including the shows or that's just at their facility. But, this thing, and then even in Las Vegas, I think the Bellagio, the Mirage, or some other, like 4 different casinos that are owned by the same people, they let go all of their employees.
Yep.
So
I think I heard Disney laid off their cast.
That's what I heard too. Like they were going to furlough them for like 2 weeks, and then once that's done, they're like, "Sorry about your luck, kid."
Yep.
You think the mouse is sort of like cringing because he's not making money?
Well, I think there's still plenty of money to be made, especially with like certain streaming services that would be
the Disney Plus app.
Yeah, because people staying in looking for entertainment.
It's true.
I know they dropped a few more shows and whatnot on it, so entirely possible that they're recouping a lot through entertainment.
Do you have the Disney Plus app?
I do not actually.
I do. It's not bad. It's got a lot of shows, a lot of old shows on it too. I just watched The Mandalorian on there.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to watch it on somebody else's device or anything, or?
Actually, no. I'll be honest. Episode 8 burned me out.
What, The Mandalorian?
No. Episode 8 of Star Wars in general burned me out.
Oh, okay, all right.
Like,
the newer videos.
I used to collect, all the video games, all the books.
Yeah.
I even memorized the Mandalorian language at one point. I can write in Orabesh, but
you can write in what?
The Orabesh, the written language in Star Wars.
I didn't know there was a written language in Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was just English.
Yeah, well, it's called Basic, and it's sort of like they're speaking their own language, but we hear it in English or whatever language you hear it in because it's translated for us in a movie.
So what you're saying is that Star Wars itself, right? Let's just take out all the other add-ins, add-ons, all the cartoons, stuff like that, but just the movies themselves. You're saying that they have this undefined language, right? Kind of like Avatar, okay?
Yeah.
But through the movies and the process of the movies and magic of movies, they translate what they're talking about in their own language into English through the camera.
Yeah, it's just like, watching a cartoon that's set in a different country, but it's performed in English.
See, I never knew that.
Yeah.
How did you find this out?
Well, being an avid Star Wars fan over the years, especially the old expanded universe, there weren't that many ideas that were set in stone, but there were things that were settled upon over time, and that was one of them. That they spoke Galactic Basic, and you had your Huttese, like especially in Episode 4, there was when they were still on Tatooine, you heard them speak Jawa. You heard Tusken Raiders and whatnot. They all had their own language, but the main language that you understood is English, or if you watched it in another language, in that language, that was Galactic Basic.
Okay, I never heard of that.
Yep,
I never knew that was even there.
Yeah, and then the written language in the original releases, the best example is when Obi-Wan is disabling the tractor beam in Episode 4. In the original theatrical and video releases, you see the words in English, but after that, they actually changed it to the language Orabesh. Yeah,
I see that. I looked up on YouTube where it says the language of history of Star Wars Orabesh. I swear to God, I never knew that was even. Oh, that was loud. I never knew that was even a thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I got bored when I was way back in middle school, and I learned it.
Really?
Arabesh. No, the Arabesh is the Star Wars version of the alphabet. Arabesh was a writing system commonly used to represent the basic language in the Star Wars universe. The name came from a combination of the first two letters, Arik and Besh. The actual Arabesh is...
So what you're saying is that George Lucas came up with this language, right? And he... Why didn't he announce that? Why did like with Avatar, you sort of know that there's sort of a different language with that, but why didn't George Lucas say anything about this?
Well, I think it's really just that it wasn't necessary to enjoy it. I mean, I enjoyed the movies, well before I became a super fan.
Okay.
And I enjoyed them as they were, and it was just through, exploring the expanded universe through the source books and the dictionaries and the stories and the video games and everything else that it just sort of built upon that.
So what is this Orabesh language sound like? Can you speak it?
Well, it's just written. It's literally English that's written
okay.
in a different. So I could write it out for you. I'm still fluent in writing it, but it's spoken just like English.
How many people practice this language?
A decent number of people. I'm part of a few groups that follow the video games or just Star Wars in general.
Yeah.
And people make memes and image macros and jokes and even fan art using Orabesh quite frequently, and most people understand it. So
okay.
I'd say if you're really invested into the story, it's one, and into like all the far-reaching stuff.
Right.
It's pretty likely to. And it's just repetition. That's what I did. I just kept using it over and over and over until I learned it.
So what do you speaking of Star Wars, what do you think about the new ride at Disney?
Haven't been on it, honestly.
Have you seen the videos of it? I'm sure.
I can't say that I have.
Really?
Yeah.
You've never seen the video?
I got really burned out by all the new stuff.
Okay. I have to say, though, I was sort of on the fence because I know Disney sort of delayed the ride being open because of the issues they had over there, like the trackless system and all that. Because I know in California, I had a couple people that I know tell me that in California for Disneyland, they were this is sort of like a new technology kind of for them. You know what I mean? So to get this new, I mean, I guess it's not new, but it's sort of every ride, every location is new for these particular deals.
Right.
So I guess what they did was when they started building this trackless system, I guess they sort of messed up, and they had to take out what they had in place and redo the entire floor in order to get this thing working. And that's why it was sort of delayed here in Florida too, because they had almost the same issue. They were sort of seeing how California went with it, and then brought it to here to see and it seems to be a big hit.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know that there have been most of the people that I knew of that actually wrote it. They spoke favorably on it on social media.
And it's a huge facility too. I mean, you're actually writing like 3 different like pre-shows, like simulator pre-shows. You know, before you get on even on the ride, and even on the ride itself, the tech that they use for all the special effects is just beyond, I think, anything they've created before. But I guess I don't know if you rode Alien Encounter before, but you ever been on Alien Encounter?
I believe I have. It's been a while.
Yeah, it was right before Stitch's Great Escape.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, Stitch's Great Escape was in the same show building.
Right.
When they took out Alien Encounter, they put that in there. But, just with the animatronics and, the effects and the lighting effects and the laser blasters going on, I actually thought it was a really good, technically advanced ride for something that, for a Star. The only thing that I have an issue with is that I think with the Star Wars land, they don't go true to what, who's going to remember Star Wars the way it is now? I think they should have made the Star Wars land the way it was back in the older movies,
Yeah, I hear you.
Because,
I mean, I agree as a fan of the the older stuff and not necessarily the sequels.
Yeah.
But I also understand the theory of, well, they're catering it to the new generation, like the kids who are growing up with the newer stuff now. They're trying to cater to their expectations and their experience.
But why couldn't they just do it to where they make sort of half and half? Like, all right, you're going to cater to the newer generation, but let's put a couple different things in there for the older generation too, and just sort of make a transition from like old to new type of thing.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
If you're going to do it that way, because most people who are with Star Wars, like you and me, are the older version of Star Wars, the older, the 4, 5, and 6 type of deal.
True. I also would say because when they acquired the rights to it, one of the things they announced was that it was going to be a perpetual franchise. That they were just going to keep milking it. Well, I mean, if you read between the lines, they're just going to keep milking it and keep milking it and keep milking it. So it's possible that they don't feel the need to retain anyone because they have plans to continuously update and have a continuously changing product, essentially.
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, I do completely agree. Why not throw a bone to those of us who've been with it since the beginning, or or have been, with the original content. But I can also see, why they'd want to have something continuously changing, or something that translates differently from a movie and a franchise into an actual park experience.
Well, even the main guy that you see at the beginning, that I don't remember the very long dreaded haired looking guy, the alien guy, that's some sort of, I don't know what the guy's name is, but he's some sort of character from the newer movies or one of the movies, and I don't even know who the guy is. He's some sort of pirate trader, but apparently he's like one of the stars, or like the whole Disneyland area, the Star Wars land area is sort of modeled after him and his role,
Okay.
And that's where you come up with the Star Wars land, is because of whatever his role is going on with these films, right? They sort of used his sort of background story to create this whole Star Wars land area, which I don't know who this person is, but some sort of character, like I said, from the movie. But here's a little clip from the ride. Now, right now you can't see it, but right now you're riding on these trackless cars, and you're riding. They're separate cars, but they're running by pairs. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So you're not you're not riding like with 40 people like a roller coaster type of thing, but you're sort of like doing almost like Men in Black type of ride. If you you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
There's a clear path to the turbo lift at the end of the hallway. Turn right.
So you're going through all these different scenes, and you're going through all these different places, and the destroyer I think you're at. Then you have like a little droid that sort of sticks out and come up and down like E.T. does on the Universal, you know. And then you come up with a couple of stormtroopers. And they actually they shoot at you, and the effects, they look like they're actually shooting their laser blasters at you. And then you go into this big room that has, you know, giant size AT-ATs in there, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really, you have to see the video, because I mean, I don't want to play the entire video, you know, on the show, but one of the other ones that I like is the guy Kylo Ren, right? You actually pull up to where the front of the bridge is on this ride.
Shields. I see no evidence. Now! Found the alarm. All personnel to their stations.
Sir, the prisoners have escaped.
Now this scene is where you're actually on the bridge and you're looking at Kylo Ren as he's talking to his guy.
How brave, but ultimately hopeless. There's nowhere to run.
And the animatronics on this thing is fantastic. They did a very good job on the movement. You know, you know, you're even going through like the giant cannons that are firing.
Wow.
On the ride. You'll hear them in a minute. Like these cannons, the laser cannons that are shooting against the rebellion or whatever they're called, right? They actually move forward and backwards as they fire. So when they go to fire, they move forward, they fire, they light up, and then they move backwards. And you actually, the car stops in between each gun moving forward and backward.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty intense, and they've got a lot of, like this scene right here, you roll up to Kylo Ren, and something happens with the window, and it tries to blow him out.
There's no escape.
So right now you're facing Kylo Ren. You've got space, you know, windows to where you're seeing all kinds of destroyers and ships and stuff like that. And then Kylo Ren is talking to you on a platform.
Tell me the location of the secret base, and then I will destroy you.
You can hear it, right? Okay.
And the resistance.
Now at this point, the window blows out behind them, and they use the same technology to blow the debris out. Because in Japan, they have these flaps, as you know, like a NASCAR. When they turn around, you see the flaps come up, right?
Yeah.
Well, the same thing, where the panels actually go behind the set. They move like almost 90 degrees on a hinge behind the set, and then you see a big old explosion. And then it looks like he's flying out the window, but there's like this big piece of debris that falls right in front of him, and that's how they reset the whole thing as you turn around. But I mean, you have to watch the video. The technology on the video is just, with the ride, just everything that goes along with it is just so well done. You know, I think Disney sort of, you know, really overproduced this really well.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's really cool. I like it. I think it's good. I don't know if I'd pay the $150 to get in to go see it, but, you know, nevertheless, I think the ride is actually really well done. You know, I mean, the Harry Potter is almost the same thing. I'm not a big fan of the movies, but I like the sets at Universal.
Okay.
You know, so I don't know how long since you've been to Universal or not, but
it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah. A lot. You know, remember Jaws, right?
Yes.
They got rid of Jaws.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. They put Harry Potter in there for Jaws.
I remember when I was a kid, the Jurassic Park thing was was my favorite.
Oh, the Jurassic Park ride. They still have that there.
Yeah.
They might change it to Jurassic World. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
All right,
that makes sense.
So going back to you and your company and your Gaither Blade and Bling, you know, I want to try to get, because I know we talked about a while back, not to switch gears too fast, but we talked about getting you on the show and actually starting. I think it was what was it called? Was it Off the Edge?
The Cutting Edge.
The Cutting Edge. That's what it was. The Cutting Edge. I really want to start getting into that and start getting that open because I think it'll be great for you. You know, and it'll be, you know, your show, so you can set up however you want to set up, and then, you know, we could do like a once a week type of thing, and then we can promo whatever you need to promo. I can make videos for you, so that way I can run them while we're doing the show. And I'm very eager to see what your woodworking guy has to offer too, and your metal shop guy too. So if you can send me some pictures of videos of that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I will do everything I can to get those. Like I said, I fully intended to get pictures today and just got lost in the work.
You've been busy, man. It's understandable. You know, there's there's not a. I mean, there's nothing you could do. You know what I mean? It's you're busy. Just like with me, I'm having to do like stuff on the air to try to fix things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really hard to do that when you're on the air and you have everything all worked out and all of a sudden it goes bad. But nevertheless, we got it working, and it's you go to your Facebook, right? It's Gaither Blade and Bling, right?
Yes, indeed.
All right. So what is the whole? How do they reach you?
Just right now, best way to reach me is to go to the Facebook page, Gaither Blade and Bling. Comment, share, message, and it goes directly to me. If you have a question about anything, you can message. If you're looking for something in particular, if you're looking for a price check, any of that, just go right there and I'll get the information.
Well, I liked your page as well already. It's called Gaither Blade and Bling, or at Gaither Blade and Bling on Facebook. Do you have an Instagram and all that stuff like that?
I do have an Instagram at G Blade and Bling. It should come up pretty quick, and I'm pretty sure I linked it to the Facebook. So
fantastic. What about a Twitter?
It should be at G Blade Bling.
Gotcha. So go to all that, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Support the guy. This guy has 1,000,001 knives. I know we touched about a little bit on it in the first couple of segments of the show. This guy found me a what's it called? What are those things called? A plastic printed, resin printed Harley Quinn revolver, which is the same size as the actual one, the Rhino. Is it a Rhino revolver? Is that what the actual gun is?
Chiappa Rhino is what I believe.
What's it called again?
The Chiappa is the brands, and the model is the Rhino.
Rhino, okay. And it's almost like the same size as a 357, right?
Yeah, I think that model is. I'm not 100% certain. I'm pretty sure it is.
So Mathew has connections all over the place. He specializes in knives, but if you want something a little bit extra, he'll be able to get it. I've seen your catalog. Your catalog is like 400 pages thick.
We're looking at 1,800 pages right now.
1,800 pages?
Yep.
That's a lot. That's a lot of merchandise, a lot of vendors. I don't know how you keep it all in your head. You've got a much bigger brain than I do. So check him out, Gaither Blade and Bling. Just go to his Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, the whole 9 yards. Again, Mathew, thank you so much for coming on. I do apologize for all the technical issues that we had.
That's all good.
We used to have you on once a month.
Yep.
And no, it was once a month or once a week.
It used to be once a month, sometimes a bit more.
Okay.
I think there was one time you had me on like an entire month in a row.
Okay, which is all fine. I have no problem with it. You know, I'd like to have it on every day if I could. So, but give them a call, 813-270, what is it, 9684.
Yep.
So, and just check him out on Facebook. He has a whole catalog right there. You also sell coral, don't you?
We do. That was the first thing we moved out of the shop, but we organized it by species. So if you're looking for coral for crafting, to fill out your aquarium, or you just like having it as decoration, or you have some crazy craft ideas, let me know. Let me know what species you're after, and I will grab some.
Now, is this like real life coral, or is this sort of like...
It's real. It's not live. These are coral skeletons harvested pre-1991. It's all legal.
Okay.
It's basically the calcified remains of the polyps. Basically, what coral does is the living part is called polyps, basically. And as they grow and they die, they calcify, and that's what creates the skeletons that you see. So, like the huge pieces of coral, it's just built on hundreds and thousands of dead polyps.
Nice. That's awesome. I mean, there's so much into that. I mean, you know more about it than I do. Do you talk to bats anymore?
Yeah, actually, I talked to him not too long ago.
Okay. I've been trying to get a hold of him, but I think he's been real busy and amidst all this Corona-19 stuff, and you know.
I think he's in the medical field right now. So
Is he really?
He's probably double swamped.
Yeah, he probably is. So I miss that guy so much. He was, such a great guy, and still a great guy, and I think he married the girl that came into the show one time about her book.
I don't know if they're
Liz Drummer. I think her name is, right?
Yeah. They actually, they got a boy together.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's cool. I mean, good for him. I mean, it's just a nice guy. Great tech too. I mean, the guy is a genius with the medical field too. So thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. I know this is not like a normal show that normally do, but trying to get all this stuff. I mean, still like a year or so into this whole channel, and we're still trying to get all the bugs worked out. It's a slow process, and especially if you not a whole lot of budget going on. You know what I mean? So it's a budget of me basically. Thank you, my friend, for coming on. And listen, let's try to get this show on the road and get this going. So that way, like if you do remote locations, I can bring my gear. We can do the remote locations, and we can have and build an audience and build up a great show. Because I used to have 2 different shows running on here, or actually 3 at one time. I think it was 4 at the most, I think. So, and then now I'm down to 1. So, I want to get back up. I want to get you back up on here. I know Michael from Olympus Pools, he's probably going to be doing a show as well. So, and hopefully I can get, see if like Manson will be able to showcase our shows on his channel too. So, that'd be a great thing to do. But think about it, man. Let's talk. Let's get this going. Let's get this started. Stuff like that. And if you have your gear set up, then we could do a remote type of deal. So, all right, my friend. I thank you so much for joining the show. Stay safe out there. Keep your family safe from this COVID-19. I will still stay in the bunker, 25 feet in the ground. And hopefully I'll have all the wiring right. So. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you spending your time with us tonight. All right?
Sure thing.
All right, man. Appreciate it, buddy.
Sharp.
We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Yep.
All right, man. See you. That was really cool. That was Mathew Gaither from Gaither Blade and Bling. He's moving shops to a different location. You know, so I missed all this stuff. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to get out of here. I got some other things going to tie up in the bunker. So join us hopefully Saturday. I'm in talks with having Finn, the creator of Fine TV on YouTube, a very YouTube sensation. Going to have him on Saturday. I don't know what time yet, but I'll get it out there and let you guys know. So Saturday, don't forget about that. Also, we're going to be talking about my good friend Flacco, that he recently died. It'll be a year. Last year, the Saturday before Easter. We talk a little about that as well. So there you go. Gaither, Blade, and Bling. Check them out. And we'll see you on Saturday. Stay safe out there with Corona. Be safe. Be well. Don't get sick. Keep your social distancing. And we'll talk to you soon. Bull and the Bartender Show, Bulls Radio Lounge. We'll see you next time.